Hello, Freedom Guy 55 here again. I wanted to talk about heaven and hell. They were just on my mind. And I got a question, or at least I had a question in my head, about why do we have more of a description of what's going to happen to you after you die in hell than we do in heaven? I mean, the description itself. What's it going to be like, and so on and so forth. In our pop culture, we have more of a description of what hell's going to be like than heaven. And I'm wondering why. Why? Why is this? Well, to my opinion on the subject, is that we were hunter-gatherers, and, when we were hunter-gatherers, we were afraid of other tribes coming in, stealing our stuff, and all that kind of stuff, and we were also afraid of other predators that were out there going to kill us. And I think this fear kind of just ingrained so much into our heads that it becomes this kind of good motivator for us. Well, actually, a bad motivator for us, really. And it motivates us mostly to do anything, whether or not it be good or bad. And religion attached itself to this. And I think that describing hell and its torture and fire and all this stuff makes individuals believe in everything else because of how afraid that they do not want to go to hell. Because you don't want to be tortured, and stuff. And that's usually my description of that. My opinion on the subject, I mean. I also had another thing to talk about. And that hell doesn't really frighten me. It just doesn't. I think it's because I realize that it gets into a kind of routine. You see, when you're in hell, it's going to be effective probably for a while. But sooner or later, it's going to be really very desensitized to you. You're just going to get used to that repetitive routine. The constant things that are going to happen to you, and then, do it again, and do it again, and do it again, then it's just like second nature. It's just like going to your job, so on and so forth. You just do it. And so it just becomes boring. And that's what hell would probably wind up being. It won't be any kind of fear anymore. It'd just be like, God, I don't want it. I want to do it anymore. It's stuff like that. So it just becomes what you really experience in heaven. It's just got torture involved. And interesting enough, I think that heaven is kind of going to be the same way. When you want, because if you describe heaven as being pretty much what I had seen it, where you get to do the things that you didn't get to do when you were on Earth, and like hang around with friends and stuff. I'm not talking about like sinning or anything. You're not going to do that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more or less the things that you wanted to do, but yet you didn't get to do when you were on, Earth, such as like skydive or something, And when that happens, you wind up thinking all these particular kind of things that you wanted to do, and you do them, and you do them, and you do them. Sooner or later, you keep on doing them, and then it gets boring. Then you're thinking of other unique particular kind of things that you're going to want to do. And you do them, and you do them, and you do them. And then when you do them, and all of them, sooner or later, your imagination's going to run weak. That you can't think of anything else. You're sitting there trying to think of something that's not going to bore you. And sooner or later, when you get to think of everything that you can, it's going to bore you. And you still have an eternity to think about other things. So it becomes this kind of routine, like hell is. So it winds up becoming another hell. Boring, tedious, ridiculous. That you're just wanting to just die and end it all. It's kind of my thoughts on the subject. That heaven and hell to me seem to be so really similar to each other that I really don't think that it's a good form to make me believe in religion at all, or to believe in God and all this kind of afterlife and such. But that's my thoughts on the subject. And I thank you for your time, and have a nice day.